Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breakthrough Show. My question for you today is if you've ever been able to thrive while dealing with significant, challenging circumstances in your life. That is what our guest is talking about on today's show, and I'm super excited to introduce her to you. So grab yourself a beverage, a snack, maybe even a notebook and a pen, and come back and join us in just a minute for this episode of The Breakthrough Show. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you. It is Friday, March 15th, 2024. I hope you are doing well today. I'm super excited to be here with you for another episode of The Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I have the incredible privilege of welcoming an amazing human being to the show today. She's a certified happiness coach, which I think you'll find hearing her story is a wow in itself. She is a living testament to the power of positivity and the strength of the human spirit. At 35 years old, she embarked on a transformative journey to self acceptance, and by 41, she broke through the barriers of health, relationship, and financial challenges to embrace true happiness. Now thriving amidst chronic illness, her life is a beacon of sustained joy and inner peace, proving that happiness is not just a choice, but a way of living. In today's episode, Positively Thriving, she will share her insights on thriving, not just surviving, and how embracing happiness in every aspect of our lives can lead to profound breakthroughs. So sit back, open your hearts, and let's dive into a conversation about choosing happiness with the incredible Dawn Super. Let's get to it. Welcome, Dawn, to the Breakthrough Show. I'm so excited to have you here today.
What an amazing intro. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have been very forthright on all of my shows about the journey that I have been through with my own health challenges since I was very little. So when I think I had a friend of mine, Paula Patterson, that introduced me to your page a few years ago when I was really like, when you're in the weeds, when you're in the
Stuck in the
weeds of
suck.
the health stuff. Um, and she introduced me to your page, and even though I'm not diagnosed with narcolepsy, I was like, wow, this feels really good. And unlike other places that I had been through to on the internet that are sort of like support group type pages and places, there wasn't a lot of like whining happening. It was just like, hey, this sucks, and it's also great and wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to have you here today, because I just love your vibe, and I was like, we got to get her. We got to get her on the show. Let everybody know where you're joining us from today, and maybe just a little history of like how many things have you actually been diagnosed with?
Okay. I'm in sunny Southern California, and I have 9 disorders. Most of them for most of my life. So, yeah, I have the narcolepsy with cataplexy, the 2 movement disorders, 2 pain disorders, severe TMJ, and Sjogren's syndrome and POTS. So I'm loaded for bear.
And it's wild because you're a happiness coach. So, most people we look at our challenges in our lives and go like, there's no happiness here. Like this is not. So it's amazing to me that you've been able to take your circumstances and make the decision that that there's it's that and word. I'm going through this and.
Yeah, it was kind of on accident, to be honest with you. I didn't like, everybody wants their life to be different, but I would study self-help stuff, The Secret, and how to win friends and influence people and all that stuff, and I never really got it. And um, I started working on myself. Forget everybody else. What can I do to make me better, to make my symptoms easier, to make my life better? And I had never had any friends. Like, I grew up in a really small town. There were only 14 kids in my class, and none of them liked me. And my mom was, worked till the dark, and so I never really saw anybody. My only teachers were books and television shows, and those characters were all written to be, with fatal flaws. So I didn't learn social skills. I didn't have boundaries. I was a feral child who grew into an adult who didn't know how to develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens. And I think it happens to a lot of us. And so I work on me and I would work myself. So those were the things that helped me stay on track, to not talking too much and not interrupting people, and those the kind of things in social settings that make you like, oh God, avoid her. She shares too much, or she shares other people's things. The things that affect your social relationships. And so on my 41st birthday, I was on Facebook, and here come all the happy birthdays. And I had started a business, and I had over 100 people wish me a happy birthday. And it wasn't just happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. It was so great to see you in Vegas. I love coming to your page. You're the only place I visit on Facebook. Thank you for being you. And the healing that came through that for me helped me realize that I had been letting all of my circumstances keep me from being happy.
Wow.
And on that date, I just realized I never had to do that again.
Yeah.
And so, sure, I go through the range of all the emotions. I was in a bad mood yesterday. And you have to remember, the reason I say happy matters all the time is because I forget. And I get caught up in my baloney, and I get caught up in the drama of my life and my symptoms. And I'm in the bathroom and my skin starts modeling, and I'm like, it's just one more thing to deal with. And so I have a choice in that moment. I'm going live on camera. I'm modeling all over my skin.
Yeah.
I can be okay with that and thrive, or I can feel self-conscious and like you might judge me or dismiss me because I have something going on that you don't have going on. And it's just a choice. Over and over, make it 1,000 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you something, because we're going to get into some of the how to after the break. But one of the things that I want to ask is, obviously, you've read The Secret, you understand about law of attraction and concepts like that. And so my question is, with the things that you've been diagnosed with, do you feel like that there is that emotional, spiritual, mental connection for you? Is there something that you feel like you are contributing to those things from a mental perspective, or what's your take on those thoughts?
100%. I still have some real terrible, heartbreaking things in my life, even to this day. And the one thing that helps me the most is this: something goes wrong. Am I going to have a better time dealing with it if I'm like, all right, girl, you got yourself through 54 years. The chances are good you're going to get yourself through this too. Or if I'm like, oh God, not another thing. I got so many. Like, this isn't fair. Like which one of those is going to serve you, right? Which one of those is going to, which one would you say if it was your friend you were talking to instead of yourself? So yeah, getting right in my head made all the difference. I have a whole series of, I did experiments on myself. I'm such a nerd.
I do the same thing.
We don't want to let go of who we are. And a lot of times we don't know how to let go of who we are without losing who we are. Like, how do you build a new me? Right? How do we Frankenstein ourselves into the person that we want to be? So I knew there were things I needed to deal with if I wanted to get better. And like, I needed to stop judging people. I'm an INFP and we are very judgy. And if you're judging someone, then you're expressing judgment, regardless of whether or not they deserve that judgment. Judging someone is something that opens you up to other people's judgment as well. So I asked myself, so what happens if I don't judge anyone, including myself, for 30 days? I'm going to do this experiment. And wow, what a huge difference it is to just look at someone and go, oh, that's a bad choice. That's not a judgment, right? You're just looking at them and saying that's it. You're not saying, oh, they're stupid or they're a bad person. That's not the choice I would make. It's a simple way that you change what you're looking at.
Right. It's so, listen, I continue to be blown away on this show, how everything literally just lines up. First of all, I had a conversation with my husband last night where he literally said to me, sometimes it's hard to want to change certain things about yourself because you're afraid that you're going to lose those parts that you don't want to lose of yourself. So that's, in alignment there. And then second, I just posted a reel this morning from a clip from the Breakthrough Show Wednesday, where we were talking about how, when I asked everybody, I said, look, how much time are you spending complaining about the people and circumstances in your life? What if that energy was spent on the things that you're grateful for or the things that are good? Like, how much time are we wasting on those things? And it doesn't serve us.
No. And I have a really great, quick little way to help yourself remember that. The human brain can only pay attention to 17 things at a time. So don't let your bullshit be one.
Oh, I love that. Listen, don't let your bullshit be one of them. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to dive in with Dawn and find out more about why a happiness coach with all of this stuff going on, and maybe some tips and tricks to help you thrive more positively in your life. So we'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to The Breakthrough Show. It is Friday, March 15th, 2024, and we are here with the incredible Dawn Super, who has been sharing with us about thriving in her life despite several diagnoses, which is always a fun time. I want to ask you, when you received the different diagnoses that you have had in your life, what was that experience like for you? What did receiving those diagnoses do for you mindset wise?
Well, as I mentioned, I grew up in a really tiny little town, and I was going to a doctor for 11 years to try and figure out why I slept all the time. And never once did sleep disorders ever come up. And they tested me for everything under the sun, including carbon monoxide poisoning, but nothing having to do with sleep. So everyone kept telling me it was in my head, which we hear a lot with invisible illnesses. So I figured if it is all in my head, I'm going to go to a psychologist and they'll be able to tell me if I'm crazy, if I'm imagining it, if I'm creating it, whatever. And that was the first time I heard the word narcolepsy. And I ended up getting diagnosed in a sleep center in a Buffalo University. So I had like 6 students that were incredibly fascinated by me, and it was a wonderful experience. And it was probably the last wonderful experience I ever had at a doctor with narcolepsy, because they have no idea what to do with us outside of medicating us. Finding out that I had myofascial pain syndrome and fibromyalgia was it was difficult, because I still was holding out hope that I had hurt myself somehow. And, finding out that I would have pain radiating in my body for the rest of my life, it really, I was only 20 something, I was 26. I was really young. And I had to stop playing volleyball. I couldn't play golf anymore. Any impact on my body would reverberate through my body, and I couldn't do it. No tennis, nothing. So accepting that at 26 was challenging.
Right.
Finding out that I have severe TMJ, and it was probably caused by a blunt trauma, was dramatic for me. Also, dealing with that, and the fact that the cause of the blunt trauma did not agree with the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so yeah, it was. I felt broken most of my life. I really did. I was 35 before I liked myself, before I could look in the mirror and didn't get disgusted with myself.
Yeah. And I that's been a very similar experience. In fact, the brokenness that I felt in receiving certain diagnoses are part of why I have like severe issues even letting myself go to the doctor because of that. Because I'm like, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to, like, is there anything that you do to like prepare yourself mentally for when you go to the doctor now based on those experiences that you've had before?
Well, medical PTSD is a thing. So
Yeah.
if you want to look that up, there may be some coping strategies that you can find in that for sure. No one's going to like what I'm about to say, but I don't go to the doctor. I blew up my life after a 15-year marriage, and had to go work full time to support myself. So I tried to go on narcolepsy meds, and I almost died. I ended up with a rare infection seen only in people dying in hospice, and I was still going to work. And I stopped taking it. The insurance company dropped doctors. It's a drama. Lots of PTSD stuff in there for sure. But at the crux of it all, no one wanted to help me. And when the dust settled, I had Sjogren's syndrome, and I would have severe side effects to anything that I tried to take. So tramadol, any kind of modafinil, any of the pain or narcolepsy medications would make me worse than being without them. So I had watched an amazing TED Talk. I highly recommend it to anyone with chronic illness. It's called Minding Your Mitochondria, and it's by Dr. Terry Walls, who was stricken with MS. And she asked the very important question: what is happening inside my physiology that is allowing MS to exist in my body? And she went researching. She was a professor. And she put together this incredible food plan that reinforces the mitochondria in the brain. And so I figured, well, what choice do I have? I mean, I have cannabis. Thank you, California, for cannabis. However you feel about it is amazing for movement disorders.
Right.
If you look on the internet, you can see people who are having Parkinson's tremors stop having those tremors quickly after ingesting marijuana. So marijuana and food have been my only medicines.
We're big supporters out here in Connecticut. Woo woo.
I went on the Wells protocol, and I felt better, but it was too much food. I'm a small eater, I have a small stomach. And so I found autoimmune paleo, which sounds very complicated, but essentially it just strips off everything that might be jacking up your body. Just stop eating any of this stuff for the next month. Eat only these simple things that don't tend to upset the body. And within 6 months, I dropped 15 symptoms.
Wow.
I used to have horrible itching in my scalp. I used to have burning scalp syndrome, where it felt like someone poured hot lava between my skull and my scalp. And both of those went away. And I stopped getting migraines. Tomatoes nightshade gave me migraines, and I had no idea. And you don't know until you stop.
Right.
So when I go to the doctor, they don't know what to do with me. They don't understand narcolepsy. They don't understand any of my other disorders. I don't want to go putting in chemicals or fake drops in my eyes. I would rather, coconut oil on my eyes at night and just deal with the dryness. I do anything natural that I can find. Turmeric is amazing for reducing inflammation. But more than anything, getting right in your head will help you more than
Absolutely.
anything. I didn't finish what I was saying. So
go ahead.
When you're faced with anything, if you face it with ease, you have a better chance of success than if you face it with dis-ease. Because dis-ease leads to disease. So each time you get jacked up, say to yourself, "Ooh, I need ease. If I'm going to get through this, I need ease." And that's not toxic positivity. I get so mad when people say,
I know.
Encouraging yourself is never toxic, ever. Denying reality.
I had to get my bell out for that one.
Yeah. I love taking on people about that.
I know. Listen, this takes me back to the very first season of the Breakthrough Show. We had Cindy Trost on the show, who had been through cancer, and she had walked in. She was like, "Look, I have to be surrounded by people who believe that this is going to be easy." So she walked into her treatment, and she was like, "This is going to be easy." And she was like, "My nurses and doctors were like, excuse me, like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?" And so we had made, for the longest time, I gotta get that back up on our merch page, you guys. We had a t-shirt for the longest time that just said, "This is gonna be easy." Like, and that's what it is. Like, it's so important what you're saying. And I think there is a big difference between what people are referring to as toxic positivity and
I can tell you, for anyone listening, toxic positivity is a complicated psychological concept. It's not a buzzword. Okay. So what I want you to remember, the only important thing about toxic positivity is that you feel dismissed. It does not matter the words that are used, the tone they're used at, the volume they're used at. None of that matters. The only thing that makes something toxic is if you feel dismissed. So if my next door neighbor comes to me and says, "Oh, girl, 9 disorders, that's bad, but you know what? It could be worse. My friend, blah, blah, blah," then I'm going to feel dismissed. Right. But if I'm talking to you and you're like, "Oh man, I couldn't sleep last night. I'm so glad." It could be so much worse. That's not toxic.
Listen, listen, do y'all hear Dawn? I hope you're taking notes. I hope y'all are taking, because it's that the whole term never, like, I could have an entire show about how much that phrase pisses me off. Because if I'm trying to create, and this is where I'm at right now, if I'm trying to create a vibe for myself, if I am on the party bus, I did a whole TikTok about that, y'all will remember. If I am on the party bus in my mind and having a good time, what kind of friends am I surrounding myself with if they're all coming in? Well, that's toxic Jessica, and that's not real life. Mama.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Oh my gosh, so good. All right, I want to get it. So, what in the world made you go, well, I'm going to be a happiness coach?
It's a little complicated in that I had been coaching people for years. I consider myself an empowerment coach more than anything else. And through my channel, my group, and my work, I've helped like thousands of people, literally thousands of people, look at things in a different way. And just like your alignment stuff, it all happens naturally for me. Like within the first 10 minutes on the call with a client, I know exactly what they need. I don't know if they'll be willing to do it, or
that's another show, Dawn. That's another show.
Yeah. But it's a gift. It's a gift that I have. Like, no exaggeration, I have had 5 people tell me they were suicidal, and a simple conversation with me, without even knowing they were suicidal, changed their mind and helped them find their will to live again. A simple conversation. And most of them didn't tell me for weeks after, or one was months after. So how do you put that kind of certificate?
Right.
How do you quantify?
You're just super Dawn.
Yeah. And truth be told, there is no governing authority for coaching in the United States. I can say I'm whatever kind of coach I want to say I am. But I got the certification for the happiness coach because someone had come to me for help. And then when they found out that I charged for coaching, then I was just like them. I don't have a piece of paper, but how can I dare charge them for helping them if I'm just like them? I'm like, all right, girl, you need a piece of paper? There you go. There's your piece of paper.
Yeah.
My piece of paper, search my freaking name and see, oh my God. I never thought about this before. I never looked at it this way. I have so many people who come to me and say, when I first saw your stuff, I hated you. How dare you be happy when narcolepsy sucks so bad? How dare you? Yeah. And then 2 years later, they're tagging me in a post. When I first met this week, I hate her guts, but you know what? She's got a point.
Yes. Yeah, it was very similar with Project Joy. You know, when I started that back in 2020, how many people were like, joy all the time, Jessica, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? and now we've shifted from, you know, joy is your choice to you are the joy, and now it's that next level. It's that next level of, oh, you thought we were done here? No, we're continuing this conversation. Brittany said, super Dawn to the rescue.
Oh, that's cute.
That is super your like, that's
it's
for real,
name.
your name?
My license, yeah.
Isn't that I love how that worked out.
I married into it, but kept the name.
Yeah. That's okay.
Not the marriage, but the name.
We always say that you should keep what works for you and throw out the rest. That's what we say.
First one gave me the kids. Second one gave me the name.
That's it. That's okay. You know what? That's awesome though, the way that worked out, because I was just talking about this morning how sometimes, in fact, my son grabbed a coffee mug out of the cabinet this morning that had our old Breakthrough Show logo on it, which was an eclipse. But we were talking about the significance of that and how an eclipse, you know, can only be seen from certain areas of the world at any one time. And now it's a sunshine. which, coming through the clouds, which we all experience no matter where you are in the world, the sunshine at some point or another, right? And so it really does signify like how far we've come in all of this period of time. So I love that even the name for you is like fitting of like coming into this part of your life, right?
Yeah, thank you. I honestly, I feel like a bit of a fisherman, you know. I'm not too positive, right? Because I'm real about the struggles that I have.
Yeah.
And that's why I say happy matters. Like, not happy is everything or happy always, or like happy matters. So all the other emotions matter too, but if you can choose any emotion, why not choose happy? Right?
Yeah.
If you get mad about something, and here's something I've been talking about recently. Negative emotions serve a purpose. They are designed to spur you into action.
Yes.
Once that action commences, you can let them go.
Yeah.
And if there is no solution to the thing that you're mad at, you have to ask yourself, how much time am I going to give up being mad about this when I could be watching puppy videos?
Yes. Yes. So it's how long are you going to sit in it? That ultimately that's where our choice is, right? Like how long do you want to sit in this before and what's the benefit? You mentioned it before. What's the benefit to you for doing that? What are you getting out of that? For sure. Kat said toxic positivity is such an important thing. Yes, it feels like it's not talked about enough. It ultimately it's how it's your perspective of it. It's what you feel like is toxic for you. If it's not for you, then that's nobody else's business. But
right. Like seriously, telling someone with a lifelong illness, hope you feel better, is toxic but they don't mean it that way.
Right.
They want you to feel better.
Right.
They don't think about the fact that you're never going to be able to feel as better as you want to feel.
Right.
But you can't get mad at people when they're doing the best they can, and everyone is always doing the best they can. What you can do when someone is toxic is have some boundaries. It's not their job to make you feel better. It's your job to feel good about yourself no matter what they're doing or saying. Okay? Yes. So if you find yourself subject and you think, oh, this positivity is really toxic, you need to learn what they say. Turn the other cheek. You don't turn the other cheek so they can slap you.
Yeah.
You turn the other cheek so that you're not participating in the toxic baloney.
That's it.
If they're toxic, you don't want to be talking to them anyway.
That's it.
Done. Move on.
That's it. I love it. When you are in the midst, because I think so many people can relate to this. So you're let's say you are diagnosed with something, some sort of pain or whatever, and you're having a really bad pain moment. Like it's a doozy. You're in bed, you cannot walk, whatever the situation is. Do you give yourself the time to really feel into that and then sort of reflect later with thinking about it maybe in a more positive way? Or how do you bring yourself back from going off the deep end when you're in one of those really challenging times?
I make sure all 17 of my things are self-care. Right? Oh God, I love my Nectar mattress. It's so comfortable. And this pillow is really supporting my back. And now let me tell you something. Myofascial pain syndrome is kind of like the opposite of Ehlers-Danlos, where Ehlers-Danlos, they're coming apart. Myofascial pain syndrome, you're coming together. So all the sheath around your muscles shrinks. So when I go like this, even right now, when I go like this, it feels like I am ripping myself in half. And I go to the doctor and they're like, oh, well, pain is subjective and some people have a low pain tolerance. And I'm like, I've been attacked by a major dog that weighed over 100 pounds. And I had my child stuck in my birth canal for an hour and 10 minutes. I know how to scale pain.
I know about pain. Thank you so much.
I know. Okay. So this is it for me.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I can stretch it out. I can rub my pain oil. I can drink my pain juice. But this is it. This is my life. So sometimes it gets really hard and shitty, and I just treat myself like I want my mommy to treat me. I mom myself. Oh, girl, you are so strong. I can't. How do you do this every damn day? I just don't know how you do it. Here, have some chocolate. Chocolate. Yeah.
Have chocolate.
Talk to your friend. Your friend Lynn. She always cheers you up. Look at some sexy guys on Instagram. Whatever you got to do, make your 17 things something that you want. Don't look at what you don't want. It's there. It ain't going nowhere. What are you going to do? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love even just that last phrase you said, what are you going to do? Like that's one of the things that I've started saying to myself, like, okay, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to spend your energy on right now? Like I love thinking about what you're saying of the 17 things for any of you that might have missed it in the beginning of the show, do you want to repeat what you said about the 17 things?
Yeah. They say that your brain can only pay attention to 17 things at a time. So make them good.
Yeah. What do you want those
I'm not saying ignore the fact that you got a red notice from the DWP. You got to pay your bills. Yeah. I'm not saying don't think about the conversation that you're going to have with your alcoholic friend at a birthday party this weekend and how you're going to hold boundaries with that. You got to deal with your life. Right. Okay. I made a sticker. It says, positivity is not throwing confetti.
Yeah.
It
can be if you want.
Yeah, optional. But it's just having your own back. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Okay. From the cradle to the grave, you're the only constant in your life. There's not one soul who will be with you on the entire journey from the cradle to the grave except you. So who's the most important person in your life? You are. There is no life story without you. And so many of us think that's selfish or egoic or, oh, she's so full of herself. She thinks about herself. Yeah, I gotta run this shit show over here.
Right.
I gotta put myself first, or I got no me for you.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned a couple different times some stickers, and I was over here hunting for a moment because I had to go find the stickers because I want you guys to see some of these. And because I am all for like making little notes for yourself and putting little, Brittany will tell you, I have a whole cork board right here. And she sends these little stickers out with her orders. And they say like, do what you love and choose happy and be kind. And things just I love little things like that. Why did you create these stickers, Dawn?
Okay. So there are 4 stages to learning. The first thing is you have to notice something needs to be different in your life. The second is you need to figure out what to do about it, if you can do something about it. The third is you have to practice the thing that you learned over and over and over and over again until you finally learn it. And my problem was I read all the stuff. I knew what I needed to do. I could tell everybody else about it. I knew what I needed to do, but right here I got stuck. Each time I would try to set boundaries, I would chicken out. Each time I would say to myself, okay, this isn't as big of a deal as I think it is. I would forget. And so I started saying all these stickers are things I said to myself to help me get here. So that be someone you want to hang around with the monkeys. You can see it there. Yeah. That's what I would do when I was in social situations and I needed to remind myself, I'm a little on the border of autistic. Like I took the test, I'm kind of close. And so I had to teach myself social skills. That one right there is one of my favorite ones. Let the sickness end with you. I have a lot of generational trauma on both sides of my family, and it really helped me focus on making better choices.
Yeah.
But
I have to tell you really quickly, one of my favorite stickers here is sleep deprivation is how they torture prisoners. And here you are folding laundry.
Yeah. We discount that, don't we? We do. We don't even think about it. If you Google excessive sleep deprivation and look at all the havoc it wreaks on a body, you'll never be upset with yourself again. You'll realize that you're superhuman.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Maybe
that. Listen, I put the link down there for you guys as well to go check that out. Shop.happymatters.guru. I'm going to get some stickers today because I feel like I need specifically the laundry one, because that one specifically, like, how do you, we will stay up late doing these things that it's like you could do that tomorrow. Why are you torturing yourself?
That's when you know you're not putting yourself first. When you're making those decisions, you're violating your own boundaries. And these are the exact kind of things that I talk about with my coaching clients, is getting them to understand. You've heard of the spoon theory. A lot of people like the spoon theory. I kind of find it a little disempowering, so I don't use it that much. But the reality is that only you know what you're capable of. And
so important.
Learning to, one of my videos, what happens if I don't try to change anyone? And when you get to that place where you let people be them, you realize that you let yourself be you at the same time. Right. Every lesson that I did had a mirror. I stopped judging other people, so I stopped judging myself. Not only that, but I stopped accepting the judgment of other people. Yeah. So if people want to judge me because I use medical marijuana, knock yourself out. My dentist, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, well, my body does. So you're entitled to your opinion. Don't use it.
Where's the good button? This is what you say to the dentist. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Kat said if I could add an Olympic sport, it would be marathon sleeping. Anybody else?
No. I will say along the lines of, I did a Zoom. You said you saw it. It's 3 truths about thriving despite chronic illness. And one of the most important things is that no 2 people are the same, and that includes no 2 people with narcolepsy. For the majority of my life, I was that sleep 12, 18 hours a day. When I had my overnight poly, I slept for 6 hours and I had 96 awakenings.
Wow.
In 6 hours. That's why I was so tired all the time. So even with cannabis, I still have issues with it. But in 2020, I went from sleeping too much to total insomnia.
Wow.
I'm lucky if I can stay asleep for 2 hours. Yeah. When I was coming off that mess 15 years ago, I couldn't stay awake for 2 hours. Every 2 hours, I had to go take a nap in my car. And now I can't sleep for 2 hours.
As we're talking about sleeping, so I have a question, which I'm sure I feel like maybe you probably get this all the time. That when people have said narcolepsy to me in the past, I have this picture of, like, we're doing this interview and now Dawn's on the floor. Like, she just
that's
what so many of us think of when we think of narcolepsy. Can you please set us straight where narcolepsy is concerned?
Yes. If I was fighting off a sleep episode, I could very easily fall asleep talking to you. I see it with my clients sometimes. They're always kind of glaze over. I'm like, do you need a minute? Do you want to get up and walk around a little bit? you just see it. So for me and many other people with narcolepsy, I noticed at some point that I have what I call a tell. Right. So I'll be booking along my day. Everything will be fine. And then boom, all of a sudden, it feels like someone unplugged something important in my brain. It's a sensation, literally, like emptiness. And from that point, I'll start like yawning, eyes watering, and then it progresses. Okay. So starts with the yawning, eyes watering, and then I'm going to start forgetting what I was doing. And then I'm going to forget what I was saying. And then if I keep going, like if I go sleep right away, as soon as within a half an hour of sensing this, if I go take a nap, I skip everything I'm about to tell you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I tell people naps are important with narcolepsy. We go to dropping things. Like I'll be walking and I'll fling my pen out of my hand for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Bumping into things. The head bobs, micro sleeps. If I continue to try and avoid sleep, my restless leg kicks in, and I got my leg I got the hoe down going on with my leg. If I keep waiting, I'm going to start noticing things out of the corner of my eye that aren't there. I'm going to hear my doorbell, which has been broken for 5 years. If I keep going, I'm going to start crying. I'm going to be irrational. I'm going to start fights with you for no reason. I'm going to be bitchy as hell. Yeah. And if I keep going, I won't be able to fall asleep. I will be stuck in that misery because I have insomnia now. I will be stuck in that misery until eventually my brain gives in and lets me go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's what an episode looks like for me. So now once I get that tell, I'm like, okay, time to go. I'll see you later. And I go lay in my bed for 40 minutes, set my alarm, 40 minutes, cover my eyes, listen to my own chanting, and just relax, whether I sleep or not. When the alarm goes off, sometimes I wake up before the alarm, I have more go-tos. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I have more than I did when I lay down.
Yeah. Now, when you take that 40-minute nap, do you feel better? Because like there's times when I will notice those little things about myself where I'm like something, like you said, something feels like it's unplugged. Like it just like where it happened. Like, do we need a reset? What's going on here? And if I go and lay down, sometimes I feel worse when I wake up. Like I don't, why?
You didn't get enough or you got too much.
Yeah.
So
is it hard to find that like that sweet spot?
You have to do it. You have to do what I call a nap time test. Okay. And it takes place over like a month. It's not a fast thing to do. So for 3, 4, 5 days, you try 15-minute naps and see what happens. Does it help you? Does it not help you? Try in the morning, try in the noon, try in the evening, different days, right? Like you're experimenting. No one knows what's going to help you. You have to be the detective and figure it out for yourself.
Wait, what? What do you mean? But everybody comes and tells me they think they know what my magic wishing ball thing is going to be. Like that solves it all. What are you talking about? Everybody knows about me.
So I've had narcolepsy for 43 years, and almost every time I take a nap, I can tell. Okay. So narcolepsy is a segmented sleep disorder. Instead of having a segment, daytime segment, nighttime segment, you have wake segment, sleep segment, wake segment, sleep segment, wake segment, sleep segment. And for me, I know where I'm at. So when I open my eyes at 5 o'clock in the morning, I know if I'm going to be able to close my eyes and get more good rest, or if I'm up. I got to stay up for at least a half hour, 40 minutes before I can try to sleep again. I know because I've practiced it, because I've tried. Okay, let's get up the first time we wake up, no matter what time it is, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's get up because our brain wants to be awake. I am in a wake segment. There is no question. I'm laying there staring at shit. I'm wide awake. No question. If I lay there, I'm just going to frustrate myself. Get up, get a drink of water, look at some funny things on the internet, and then try again in a little bit. And over, that's what you're going to have to do for the rest of your life. We're just going to have to keep, okay, should I stay? Like how many, this is what got me to do it, is what happens if I don't stay in bed. Because my alarm would go off and I'd be like, okay, 10 more minutes. Oh, 10 more minutes. Oh. And each time I didn't get anything out of those stupid 10 minutes. It was like I closed my eyes and opened them again. All I got was frustrated and sleep inertia. So get up.
Yeah. I love that about listening to yourself, though. I think it's so important. And we do see so many things floating around about this is how long of a nap you should take, or this is the time of day, or don't do this, or don't do that. And anytime I follow any of those, it's not what I need. It's not,
Yeah.
and I've not once said, "Hey, Jess, hey, how are you? What do you need?"
Yeah. You got to
Such an
follow your own
important
plan.
reminder. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a super quick break and listen to Dorothy Oj read our For Love poem. And when we come back in just 1 minute, we're going to find out about where you can find Dawn, how you can work with her, and what she has coming up soon. So we'll be right back after this.
I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart. I shall stand for love, for the world is wounded, not just my little piece of land, where I am mostly safe, where I am mostly well, but our world, everywhere, every day. I shall stand for love, because we need more light, not more death, not more power, not more bombs. I shall stand for love, so that our children are safe, so that our friends are sheltered, so that our borders are open. I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart.
Thank you for standing for love with us today. We are back on the Breakthrough Show. So excited to have Dawn Super with us today, who has been just so inspiring. You're so inspiring, Dawn, and I know you hear that. I see all the comments on your page, and people are loving it. You've hit some amazing milestones lately on positively narcolepsy. If you want to toot your own horn for a minute, please feel free to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had the page for 10 years and I was stuck at like 3,800 followers for the last 2 years. And some of my posts really hit great. And this last month, I've reached 1.2 million people with my posts. And thank you. I've almost 5,000 followers last time I checked. One silly meme that I shared, it got like 26,000 reactions on it. It was shared like 11,000 times. It's super fun.
Wild. I love it. And listen, anybody that's going through any kind of anything should just go follow Positively Narcolepsy by Dawn Super. You can find her on both Facebook and Instagram. The link for the Facebook page, I think, is down in the show notes. You guys can go check that out as well. We also want to let people know that they can visit you at dawnsuper.com, which is scrolling down the bottom of our screen here. What can people find when they go to your website, Dawn?
My website is really all about my coaching. I do actually want to share something that I'm recently gotten involved with,
Sure.
and it's the State of Mind Academy. And I have a lot of resources in the free group here. So anyone who needs help thriving can go in the free group here. And I know a lot of people who are chronically ill can't really afford to hire me for one-on-one coaching because it is pretty expensive. So the State of Mind Academy has put together a premium membership that people can join the personal growth option. For $199 a month, you get 4 hours of coaching, one-on-one, a group coaching on Zoom. So an hour a week of coaching for $199 a month. And it's an option that wasn't. Oh, thank you so much for that. It was an option that wasn't available to me because I didn't have the connections that I do now. And I feel really grateful to be able to give this opportunity to other people.
I love that. And please go check that out. You want to hold that up one more time,
Yeah.
Dawn? You have Soma Premium and Soma Free there. You guys, I also put it down in the comments for you, and I'll go back and add it in the show notes as well. So be sure that you guys go check that out. Brittany was saying before we went to break in the comments that she watched the replay
Oh, amazing.
of your webinar 2 or 3 days ago and loved it. And it's a different experience getting to hear about thriving through a chronic illness from someone that has a chronic illness. How many times do we get advice from someone who has no idea, what it's like or going through? And you really are a testament to the power of choice. And I want to celebrate you for that today, Dawn.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I love it. What do you have coming up next? What are you working on right now?
I'm working on expanding the premium group. I do have the replay of that 3 Truths in the free group. Also, I'm dropping things in there on a regular basis. Working with the State of Mind Academy has been really fascinating for me. The person who owns it is Ron Hoffner. He's a master NLP trainer. So I'm now studying NLP also.
Yes.
Paper. What I find the most fascinating is NLP is kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of different things put together. And as I'm looking through it, I'm seeing how many things I learned on my own, like before I ever even knew they were a thing to do. I had a professor who used one of my narcolepsy videos in a diversity talk at a university. And my train just left the station. I was saying that, one of the things that I say to my clients all the time is argue with yourself. If your brain is saying anything to you that is not nice, that you would not say to a friend, argue with it. Don't just accept it as, your brain lies, especially when you're chronically ill. And that's a thing. It's called cognitive distortion. Your brain distorts the way that you should be thinking about things. And the solution is to rationalize with yourself. So I was like, oh, look at me figuring things out on my own. And that's why my coaching is so valuable, because I have a decade of that. Wisdom that I have brought in is just staggering.
Yeah. I love it. I am so thankful that we were able to do the show today, and that you've shared. This has been such incredible information that you've shared today, and your stories are just inspiring. And I hope that everybody goes and follows Dawn somewhere on social media. Check out the free membership that she shared with you guys as well. And thank you so much for being here today, Dawn. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. It was amazing. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back anytime, and we'll go down some more rabbit holes, because it's fun. There we go.
Perspective is everything.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, Dawn, and I hope to see you again soon.
Bye.
I want to thank you guys so much for being here today, and being a part of the show in the comments. It always is amazing, and I know I'll catch a lot of you on the replay as well. As we wrap up today's inspiring episode with Dawn Super, Positively Thriving, I'm reminded of the incredible power that each of us holds to shape our own lives. Dawn, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and showing us that happiness isn't just something that happens to us. It's something we choose, cultivate, and grow, even in the face of life's challenges. Choosing to thrive rather than just survive isn't about ignoring our struggles or painting over them with a veneer of any kind of false positivity. It's about acknowledging our reality and deciding within that reality that we can still find reasons to be joyful, grateful, and positive. This mindset doesn't just change how we feel, it transforms how we interact with the world, opening up spaces for more breakthroughs, more growth, and more profound connections. Dawn's story is a powerful reminder that our circumstances don't define our capacity for happiness. We do. It's a choice that leads to thriving, to discovering depths of joy we might have thought were out of reach, and living a life that truly resonates with who we are meant to be. Thank you, Dawn, for being such a vibrant part of today's show. And for everyone tuning in, remember that every day presents a new opportunity for a breakthrough. Let's make the conscious choice to thrive, to be happy, and to spread that positivity wherever we go. And speaking of spreading positivity, don't miss our next episode, No Human is Useless, with the return guest, the remarkable William Plonge. William returns to share his empowering message and the incredible work he's doing to make the world a better place for everyone. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you that every day is a great day for a breakthrough. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.